Hello guys, how's it going? So thank you very much for tuning in again. This is episode 3 and this is actually my second time recording episode 3. I did it last week and basically I then had like a think about it and like that I must put a little bit more sort of structure in place to the whole kind of series. So this particular class is just focusing on breathing, and it's something which a lot of us actually aren't doing properly, which is quite interesting, you know, like we're not really breathing super deeply these days. I find, at least personally, that's how I was for a long time. And it was partly, I think, because I was sitting at a desk all day and generally like in a slouch position, so I wasn't giving myself the space to actually to breathe properly, you know, like where you should breathe from, like, you know, properly from your stomach and then up through your lungs and out. So yeah, I want to just talk a little bit about how I find that I think, you know, other people might also find themselves breathing at the moment. How to do it properly, and then like a few reasons, you know, why breathing is so important, and like what it actually does to the body and the benefits of doing it properly. So there's always like one of the first things is always like people talking about like what's the most important thing when it comes to your health, you know, and you get lots of people who can say, oh, it's the food you eat, or the amount of water you drink, or the exercise you do, or whatever, like, you know, there's lists and lists of things. And what I always think is, you know, the most important is breathing. Like, I'm quite a practical, logical thinker, you know, and you can do without food for a few days, I think. You can do without water probably for a couple of days as well. You can do without exercise probably for your whole life, but give yourself 1 minute, 2 minutes of not breathing and you're gone, you know. And to me, like, that's kind of a logical way of looking at how important breathing is to us, you know, and not just breathing, but like breathing properly and the things that it actually does and activates and helps, you know, in terms of body processes and stuff. So, you know, there's lots of guys out there now that are doing like breathing things. So, well, the main one probably that people know of is Wim Hof. You know, he's got a particular type of breathing program, as well as like having cold showers and cold waters and things like that. And it's amazing. Like, first of all, if you haven't done his program, you can get it online. It's really great. It's a 10-week one, and you really do learn a lot about yourself when you're breathing, and you know how well you respond to cold water and all those things, and there's lots of great benefits to it. But yeah, moving on, like let's just talk about breathing, why it's like probably good for you. So besides keeping you alive, what you'll find is like if you're not breathing properly, you're kind of like breathing very shallowly because you're slouched over and you're breathing from your chest, and it's not helping with your posture. Okay, so if you breathe deeply and you breathe properly, it really helps with your posture. It like kind of makes you sit up a little bit straighter, and it immediately makes you kind of feel better, like you're like, cool, okay, now I'm like, you know, now I'm like this, and like I've got a good posture, and it just helps my whole demeanor. Okay, so when you're breathing properly, your posture's better. Okay, and then, you know, let's like be logical again. You know, you breathe in and you're taking oxygen in, and you know you're transporting oxygen, you know, throughout your body. So that's pretty damn important and pretty you know, one of those things that you can't live without. And then what they say, like in yoga, is that through your exhale, you actually get rid of a lot of toxins. Okay, so that's why like your inhale is just as important as your exhale. Sorry, your exhale is just as important as your inhale, because you're getting rid of all these toxins out of your body, you know, and once again, that makes a lot of sense to me too. So it's important to, you know, to get both the inhale and the exhale sort of deep enough. Okay, then the other one, which I think is, you know, is quite a logical benefit as well, is they talk about diseases and things like that getting caught up in stale parts of your body, you know, body parts where you don't move as much, or you know, they're just more still just by the nature of where they are. So by breathing properly and getting that circulation going and oxygen going around our body properly, you're reaching those more stale places, and therefore it's not giving diseases or illnesses or whatever the opportunity to sort of start growing and manifesting themselves. And that to me, once again, makes quite a lot of logic and sense. So those are some good reasons why we need to focus on our breath and do it properly. And now I just want to quickly like talk about myself, I guess, in terms of how I always used to breathe, and we can do like a couple of exercises just to see how you breathe yourselves. So how I used to breathe was like, and I guess sometimes I slip back into it these days, of course, still when I'm at a desk, but it would just be like quite a shallow breath. So I'd be like, and it's like just coming from your chest, okay? It's not coming anywhere from my belly, okay? And it's not changing my posture or anything, because it's light, and therefore I'm not getting in maybe as much oxygen as I probably could, which would be better for me. So, and I'd just be like, okay, so that's, I guess, how I probably was. And how I try to do it more now is breathe in more from like my belly and then come up through my lungs, and yeah, you know. So just practice first of all as if you're breathing like normally, and see for yourself where you're sort of, if your stomach expands at all or not, and yeah, just have a little play around with it for like say 30 seconds or so. I'll do the same. So it's quite cool to just be observant to how it works in our body, what sort of expands, what sort of contracts when we are breathing. And when I was out in India and I was doing my meditation teacher training, the teacher, our guru guy, he basically, you know, he pointed out to me, he's like, look, you know, this is how you're meant to breathe, and you should really be expanding your stomach when you breathe in, and exhaling, making your stomach smaller when you exhale, okay? Inhale, expand, exhale, contract, okay? And it's quite weird, like, I remember when I was first doing it, it almost felt like the opposite, like I would inhale, my stomach would go smaller, and then I'd exhale and it would go bigger. Like I almost was doing it the complete opposite. Okay, but it's good just to have a try of it. So sit there, breathe in. Have one more go. And for the purposes of now, you can breathe in through your nose or your mouth, whatever you feel like, whatever's more comfortable for you. We'll get into the sort of yoga style breathing in a second, just to explain that. So yeah, so breathe in. Breathe out. And you'll find, like, if you breathe in properly, it's like starts here and then it comes like up, and you kind of like getting nice and big, and then goes all the way down. Okay, so it's just something like that's worth being conscious of more and more and more, because through the small things in life, seriously, that's where you're going to get the greatest benefits. You know, like, this is such a small adjustment to how you behave, how you act, how you are, and it's not something that's going to take you, you know, it's not like a mission. You don't have to go, okay, organizer, I'm going to have to spend an hour now to go to the gym and do this. This is just something you do every single second of your day, you know, and like, by just doing that properly, the compound impact of it is going to far outweigh a lot of other things that you might think you need to be doing. Okay, so yeah, it's like a simple thing to do, just get it right, and each time you're doing it a little bit better than you have before, and you're making yourself healthier. Simple, I think. Okay, cool. So the next thing that I wanted to just talk about was yoga breathing, right? And you probably get like a few different types, but in the type of yoga that we'll be doing, it's more like sort of Ashtanga Vinyasa type of yoga, and the type of breathing is called Ujjayi breathing, okay, or Ujjayi pranayama, which is like basically means breathing or life force, okay. And the way to do it, okay, is through your nose, okay, and then you breathe in through your nose and you breathe out through the top of your sort of throat, slightly closing like the top of your throat, or your glottis or epiglottis, one of those two, and you're keeping your mouth closed at the same time. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just sort of demonstrate it for you, and this is going to take a few times to get right because it kind of seems a little bit weird. Okay, so we're just going to go and breathe in. Breathe out. I'll go again, then I'll explain. Okay, breathing in, my mouth is closed through my nose. I'm breathing out, my mouth is closed. I'm breathing out through the top of the back of my throat, okay, but air is still going to come out of your nose too, okay. Okay, so give that a try yourself. I'll do it with you. We'll have a couple of goes and see how you feel, and then you know, if you need another practice, just obviously do it once we're done with this class. So we're just going to quickly do a couple of them now. Okay. Cool. So that's the way to breathe when we do it. I'll obviously give you reminders, of course, when we start the classes and things like that. You know, and the importance of breathing also in yoga is like, you know, a few-fold basically. So the breath actually leads your sort of next posture. Okay, so you breathe, then you move. Okay, so breathing and movement go together. Okay, and you'll find, like, you know, when you're in a class, they'll say, okay, inhale, you know, arms up, gaze up, exhale, forward fold. So the breath leads the movement. Okay, it's very, very important. It also creates space, like when you're doing, say, one posture for 5 breaths. Each time it allows you to go deeper into that posture. Okay, it's also a great sense of just calming the mind. Okay, like it gives you something else to focus on, and you'll find that you need that with the busy lives that we lead, right? And then the last one is it allows you just to kind of focus on your breath and what it sounds like internally, okay? And once again, for me, it's almost like another distraction. So you hear it, and it actually sounds quite cool when you sort of start doing your yoga practice and you're breathing properly. So that's a little bit about breathing. I hope it makes sense. I also hope it's not too quick. I'm super conscious that often when I learn things, I take longer than normal, and therefore I like things explained to me like real simply in layman's terms, and for teachers to take their time. So I hope this is slow enough for now. We can always come and revisit it at some point, and I really look forward to hearing your thoughts on this, and also just getting in touch and you know, connecting with you people. So thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to posting this and to hearing what your thoughts are, and then posting future videos as well. So cool. Hope you guys have a cool day, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers. Bye.